Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Mezco 112 Collective Moon Knight. And Moon Knight is definitely one of my favorite characters, so I'm really excited about this. Plus, I really like the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive version of Mezco Moon Knight, so I just know that I'm going to love this figure. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the packaging. Obviously, it comes with the big, obnoxious, crazy Mezco packaging that they like to do. This is way too big in my opinion. At this point, they've released so many figures that it's really hard to keep and store all these big, huge boxes. And nobody wants to throw them away because they do look nice and they're a good way to store the figure if you're not displaying them. But damn, these things are just too big, man. At this point, it's kind of frustrating. But it does look really nice. I like the Moon Knight logo here in the center, the white background. It says Moon Knight up top, 112 Collective down here, Marvel on this side. On the side of the box, we have a gray background and a Moon Knight logo, which looks good. On the back, we get a look at the figure itself with all the cool accessories that he comes with, and then a bunch of awesome promo shots. On this side, we have the same thing as the opposite side, and that's about it. It is a slip cover, so you could take this off, and then you see Moon Knight in there with all his cool accessories. So yeah, that's it for the packaging. Like I said, it does look nice. It protects the figure, but it's just too big. So I really wish they'd come up with a better situation for their boxes. But anyways, enough about the box. Let's take a look at the figure. Well, here we have Moon Knight out of the box, and this figure is looking really, really good. I love the way that the cape drapes over the shoulders like this. I think that looks awesome, and the cape is really nice. I do wish that it came with the wired cape instead, but I'm pretty happy with what we got here because they did such a good job with it, and you could do a lot of good stuff with it. Check this out. Oh, look at that. Man, that worked out pretty good. But yeah, my favorite look for the cape is to kind of have it tucked back like this and then just draped over the shoulders. And that's basically how he came out of the box, and it's pretty easy to get it back into that position even after you're messing with it for a little bit. But yeah, this is a really nice looking figure, and I was kind of surprised by the amount of differences in this one and the San Diego version. They're basically repaints, I guess you could say, of each other, but they did some different things here which I wasn't expecting, and we'll take a look at that stuff when we bust out his the Comic-Con version. But for now, this guy looks really nice. I like the all white look, and there's a lot more gray on this figure than I expected. I thought it was going to be completely white, so that was a surprise too. But yeah, man, this thing looks really good. But let's go ahead and take a close look at all the details on him. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully you could see everything. It's a little tricky because of how white he is, but let's go ahead and try this out. So first off, I really like the way that the hood looks. I love the texture to it. It really reminds me of that era of Moon Knight. I can't remember who wrote it or who drew it, but it was right after Civil War. I really like that run. It's where he was fighting Taskmaster. This crazy amount of detail in the hood reminds me of that era of Moon Knight, so I like that a lot. And then the face looks really, really cool too. Let's take this hood off so you could see the head sculpt here. Look at that. Oh man, that's super dope, and I love those blue eyes. That is really, really cool. And I like the detail they put into there. It's not just straight up white. There's some like dirty details in the mouth area, just throughout the whole head. And then there's stitching that runs up like that. Some more details in the back. I love the way that like dirty gray kind of color looks for Moon Knight. But yeah, look at it. Look at those eyes. That's super dope. And I really like the way that they did the hood too, because you put it on there and it pretty much clicks onto the collar, so you don't have to worry about it falling off when you're just kind of messing with it. But yeah, that looks really good. The cape looks really nice. I like the texture of it. It kind of has like a leather type of feel to it on the outside, but then on the inside it has more like a felt type of feel. So that is really cool. And then on the costume, we have like all these lines and panels and stuff. And I do like that a lot. And check out how much gray they have in there. Like, look at all that. There is a lot of white, but I'm surprised by the amount of gray or tan or whatever color that is that they threw in there. So that's pretty interesting. And then we have the crescent moon there on the chest. The belt looks really good. It has the same kind of detail as the face. And then for his arms, these seem to be like the same sculpt as the San Diego version, but it does look nice, and it has that like pearlescent white look to it, so that looks cool. And then the fists are kind of grimy and dirty, so that's really cool. Let's see here. We got some more paneling throughout the whole figure. And check out the material of the figure itself. It's kind of hard to see. There's not a lot of like empty areas, but here on the inner thigh, there's like an empty area, and it's cloth, and it's just like straight up traditional cloth. On the San Diego version, it's a little different, so we'll take a look at that later. But check out the boots here. They look really nice too. Same kind of thing as the fists. They're like pearlescent white. So it looks really, really good. And as far as the accessories go, there's really no surprises because he comes with all the same stuff that the exclusive version comes with, and I'm okay with that. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the hands. First off, he comes with a pair of fists, and then next up, he comes with a set of open hands. And then he comes with a set of hands that have his little crescent moon blades wedged between his fingers. And then for the last set, he comes with a pair of gripping hands that could be used to hold on to his various weapons. And speaking of the weapons, he comes with a couple of cool things, starting off here with his crescent moon blade type of thing. And then next up, he comes with this double-sided spear. And then he has this weapon, and it kind of looks like that previous spear was like pulled apart and then had a chain in the middle, and then he could use each side as like an individual dagger, you know. He's always fighting monsters and werewolves and stuff like that, so maybe something like this would come in handy for him. And then he has this, which looks like another variation of his weapon. It kind of feels like all three of his weapons are really a 3-in-1 kind of deal, and each one represents like a different look. So this kind of looks like the previous one, except for one side has like a grappling hook type of thing to it. So I think that's a really cool idea for Moon Knight. And all the weapons are very cool. I like that they all match the figure very well. They all have like a pearlescent kind of look with some silver highlights. And as you could see here, you could see that pearlescent white a lot on this one. This one has like a super long chain. Check that out. And then you have this spear on the other side. So that looks good. And let's see what else we have here. And then we have this guy here that has a much shorter chain. Then you have like the two spear things going on. So yeah, really cool weapons. I like these things a lot. It looks like Moon Knight could really do some damage with these things. And then he comes with two different head sculpts, this one being the first, and we've already taken a look at this. Once again, I think this is awesome. I love the way that the blue eyes look, and I like the details on the mask itself. And then he comes with this really nice looking half unmasked Mark Spector head sculpt, and I like this thing a lot. I loved it in the exclusive version, and it's just as impressive right here. I love like the battle damage. Check out his black eye. It looks like he got rocked, and then he's got a bunch of scars and scratches all over his face. I like that big long scratch along his nose. That's really dope. And then it also comes with this cowl down effect, so that's really cool too. And yeah, this face sculpt is awesome. And with that cowl down piece, you also have the option to display him with the cowl down and the mask on, so I think that's cool too. And then it does come with the typical Mezco stand, and it does look really cool. We have the moon, a black background, and then a white trim, and I think that looks nice. It does have a peg right here, so the figure could stand on that, or you could pop that out and pose him on that articulated arm that Mezco figures come with. And then he also comes with Mezco's crazy cape posing contraption, and I'm not a big fan of that thing, so I'm not going to show it here. I don't even take it out of the box, to be honest with you. They always include it with their caped figures, and I never like it, so it sucks. I wish they'd go more towards wired capes like they did with Magneto, but oh well. And now for some size comparisons, we have Moon Knight alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Blade and the Mezco 112 Collective New York Comic Con exclusive Shadowland Daredevil. And then here we have him alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Onyx Edition Sovereign Knight Batman and the Mezco 112 Collective Previews exclusive Black Suit Spider-Man. And I really love that figure. I really feel like he's underrated. It's one of my favorite Mezco figures, to be honest with you. Next, we have him alongside the Mafex Tiger Stripe Wolverine and the Marvel Legends Scarlet Spider. Here we have him alongside the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Lord Dracon and one of the articulated icons White Ninjas. Next, we have him alongside the NECA movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Leonardo and the SH Figure Arts Ant-Man. Then we have Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. If you want some West Coast Avengers action going, we have Moon Knight alongside the Marvel Legends Mockingbird and Marvel Legends Wonder Man. And here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Moon Knight, which is a really nice figure. And if rumors are to be believed, it sounds like we're going to be getting a new Moon Knight figure pretty soon here from Marvel Legends. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's probably going to be an all-white version. We'll see, but shout out to Rectangular for breaking that. And then on the opposite side here, we have the Marvel Legends Taskmaster. And then for the final comparison, we have the new Moon Knight along with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Moon Knight. And both of these figures are very, very similar. I think it's fair to say that the new one is basically just a repaint of the old one, but there are some differences that I wasn't expecting to see. So first off, the material that actually covers the figure itself is different. On the exclusive version, as you can see, the pattern, it's very different from just standard cloth. It's like this weird mesh stuff going on, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see the differences or if I could even, but yeah, if you look at the inner thighs of both figures, the material is very different. The new version just has like regular cloth, and the old version has something that's a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know, it's not really spongy or anything, but the pattern is just different. It doesn't look just like standard cloth. So, okay, so I know this is a little weird, but if you turn the figure around and look at his butt area, you could see that the material is very different. Check it out on this side and then over here. And like I said, I know it's kind of weird, but I'm just trying to show you guys that the material is different on the two figures, and that's a big surprise to me. So I just wanted to make sure you guys know that shit. And then another big difference I saw right away is on the chest piece. It looks like the new version has like a little cutout right there, and the old version does not have that. At first I thought maybe just the colors were kind of throwing me off, and like the cutout was in here somewhere and I just wasn't seeing it. But no, it's definitely a separate cutout, and that's basically it. Other than that, everything else is pretty much exactly the same as far as I could tell. It's really hard to tell because on the San Diego version everything's black, and then over here there's like different colors going on, so like things just kind of throw you off. But for the most part it's very similar, except for those two things that I said was different, which was the pattern of the chest overlay piece and the actual fabric of on the figure itself. So hopefully you're able to see that. Aside from that, you know, they're basically the same figure and they're both equally as awesome. And another big difference is the paint job on the two half unmasked head sculpts. As you could see, the white one has like more apparent battle damage. You could see that the black eye looks darker. The scratches on the face look a little bit darker and more red. So the Comic-Con version looks like he's healed up a little bit, and the white one looks like he just got socked in the face. But yeah, both of them look really good, and it's cool that they're different, so I'm into that. And you know something I just realized? With Moon Knight, with the all-white face like this, it kind of reminds me of, what's his name? I want to say his name is like Phantom Rider or something. I think he was a villain during, I think he's the reason why the West Coast Avengers broke up or something, right? Yeah, so, you know, all coming full circle. But how cool would a Mezco Phantom Rider be? A freaking ghost white cowboy dude. That would be awesome. But yeah, that's what this head sculpt reminds me of. Oh, and one quick thing. I think that it was a huge mistake for Mezco not to include a black mask along with this figure so that we could have a classic Moon Knight look. But let's go ahead and take the head from the Comic-Con version and see how that looks. I'm sure it's going to look super badass. And let's take a look here, and there we go. And holy crap, look at that. That's like perfect classic Moon Knight. So, man, what were they thinking? They should have really thrown a black head in there. But not like in place of the white one, because I like the uniqueness of the white one. It looks really cool and different. But why didn't they throw a black head in here with Moon Knight to give us that classic look? Look at, oh my God, this is like, this is perfect right here. This makes me, I mean, I already love the figure, to be honest with you, but oh man, this takes it up a notch because that is like perfect classic Moon Knight. Holy shit, that's really, really cool. But I think, yeah, I think it was a big mistake that they didn't include that with this figure, because if you weren't able to get the Comic-Con version, you're kind of, you know, you're kind of screwed. But the Comic-Con version is pretty easy to get. I mean, it's not very expensive, all things considered. And here's a look at that just to see how cool that looks. Yeah, I dig that too. But yeah, oh my gosh, this classic Moon Knight look is so awesome. And to be honest with you, this is probably how I'm going to display him. Okay, so now for the articulation, let's go ahead and take a look here, starting with the head. And he can't really move his cowl around. It kind of swivels on that little collar piece that it's stuck on. And then you have to move his head separately. So, I mean, that works. That works out good. You can't really spin it all the way around without it popping off or running into his face. But the way they did it is really cool, and it makes it so that you don't have to remove the cowl to move his head. But we're going to go ahead and do that just so we could see the head movement. And obviously, his head can move side to side. It could look up to about right there. It could look down to right there. And then you've got some tilt going. So really good movement at the head. And then for the torso, for some reason, the torso on mine seemed a little stuck. I was messing with it a lot, and I was able to get it to crunch, but I feel like the San Diego version could crunch more. So as of right now, I'll probably heat him up and see what else we could do. But as of right now, he could crunch forward to about right there. And I feel like I could get more out of it if I messed with it. But still, that's pretty decent. I mean, I'm not mad at that. And then he could tilt to the side. Only a little bit though. He does have some tilt. He has the typical Mezco torso setup where you have a cut in the middle and then a cut at the waist, and using those together, that's how you're going to get a lot of your movement. And you've got some twists going, so that's cool. And then for the arms, you do have like a slight butterfly joint going, which is good. Let's get his cape out of the way here. So you got a little bit of a butterfly joint there. You have ball jointed shoulders that, you know, they're not going to move up too much. Pretty much only go right there, because then his suit kind of gets bunched up. You could see some things kind of stretching, and you don't want too much of that. So be careful with the arms. And then they do come out. Let's see how far they go back. Looks like they could go back pretty much the same amount, but you know, it's enough. You could get a lot of good poses out of that arm movement. And then you could bring his arm up to the side to about right there. And then you have the upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which are pretty nice, but his little wrist gauntlet thing kind of gets in the way, but still you get some decent movement out of the elbow, more than 90 for sure. And one thing about this figure is that you can't really get his arms down to the side that well because it kind of bunches up right there in the underarm. Actually, that's not too bad. That works. That's okay, actually. It does bunch up, but it doesn't seem to prevent bringing his arms down a decent amount. So that's cool. And then we have a ball joint at the wrist that gets some movement all the way around. Then you have a hinge in there and then swivel at the hand itself. And then for the legs, you could bring them out to the side to right there. Bring them back to right there. Bring them forward to about right there. But you're going to want to be very careful when you're doing this to the legs because you're going to crease those little overlays in there. So that kind of sucks. So be careful there. And then you have upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. And then the foot is something that a lot of people are pretty unhappy about because the way that his boot is kind of sculpted, it prevents a lot of the movement in the foot. But it has good movement. It's just kind of hindered by this here. But it has a swivel. You can move up to about right there or forward to about right there. And then you could bring it. Let's see how far you could bring it up. Oh, not too much. And that's probably where we get a lot of problems because it kind of makes it hard for him to stand up when you can't bring his feet up anymore. Sure, if you heat it up, we could get some more movement out of there, but it's not too bad. And then we have rocking ankles, of course. Looks like his foot is on a little ball joint. Let's see. Yeah, that's about as far up as I could get his foot right here. And then that's about it. So yeah, the articulation is really good on this guy. I think it's one of the better bodies for Mezco figures. It feels very similar to the Green Lantern figure, and I'm really happy about that because I think that body is really good. I want to say it's the same body they used on Magneto too. And it's good. It has good articulation, has a good build. It's just a matter of if the costume on top of the body will allow movement. And in this case, it does. I think for the most part, we have pretty good movement on this guy. Okay, guys, so overall, I'm very happy with this figure, and I think the Mezco did a really great job with it. And if you've seen my review of the Comic-Con version of Moon Knight, or you watched my top 10 Mezco of 2019 video, then you already know how I feel about that figure, and this guy is right up there with it. It's basically the same figure with a different color scheme. Obviously, this new figure does a great job of capturing that classic look from Moon Knight with all that white. I do wish that he came with a black masked head. I think that would have been perfect. Luckily, I have this version. Not everyone out there has the Comic-Con version, so they're not going to be able to do that head swap, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, they really should have included that. I think that's one flaw with this whole situation. But as far as the figure itself, I love it. I think it's really good. The articulation is nice. The costume doesn't get in the way of the articulation too much. He's pretty posable. He has really cool accessories. I like all the weapons that he comes with. I do wish that he came with some things that were a little bit different from the exclusive one. I think that would have been awesome. But as it is, the weapons that he comes with are nice. The unmasked head is awesome. I love that battle damage on the face. That looks really, really dope. And yeah, just overall, this is a really nice figure. I do wish that he had a wired cape, but you know, I'm fine with how it is because then it drapes naturally on the figure. But I wish they'd come up with like an interchangeable cape situation. That'd be awesome. And you know what? Toy Fair is about 2 weeks away, so maybe they'll reveal something like that at Toy Fair. I think that'd be really cool. It's, you know, a lot of people have been asking me what I expect to see from Toy Fair, and I don't know because 2019 had so many great figures. You know, it's almost like I don't have like a solid wish list of figures that I want to see because I feel like they hit so many marks between Marvel Legends, Mafex, and Mezco. So many companies like satisfied so many of my collecting needs. I can't even like think of things that I want from Toy Fair. But that's something that I would like to see is like just new ways of doing things. So if Mezco found a way to do like an interchangeable cape, that would be awesome. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I do have a couple of things I'd like to see from Mezco at Toy Fair. Aside from the cape thing, I'd love to see a Mr. Knight figure because why not? That would be so perfect. They've been killing it with the Gomez figures, which is, you know, their mascot in a suit and tie. All they need to do is make that white. They could even make it a Gomez figure. Make a white Gomez, make a Gomez in a white suit with a white Gomez head, and then just throw a Moon Knight head in there. That would be awesome. You don't even have to call it Moon Knight if there's weird like licensing situations or something. Who knows? Just do that. That'd be awesome. I think so many people would pick that up. Moon Knight fans and Gomez fans, which it seems like there's a lot of Gomez fans these days. I think that would be really, really cool if for some reason they can't just do a straight like Mr. Knight figure itself. Maybe they can't. I don't know how like all those things go. Sometimes there's weird legal situations that us fans don't know about. You know, we talk like what we want from companies, but we don't really know the whole stories. But sometimes there's loopholes, and I think that's like a pretty sensible loophole. Make a white Gomez figure, throw a Moon Knight head in there, or, you know, just let people, you know, if you're a Moon Knight fan, you're probably gonna have this guy. You could pop that head onto that white Gomez figure. How's that? And then aside from that, I would love to see them make Taskmaster. I think those are my two wants from Mezco at Toy Fair 2020, which is coming up in 2 weeks, and I'll be out there. I can't wait. I'm so excited. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys would like to see from Mezco at Toy Fair 2020. I know a lot of people will come with some good ideas, so leave that in the comments. I look forward to reading that. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And thank you very much. Peace.